of what I do as someone with ADHD. Okay, not diagnosed other than by you all, like all my friends. One that I'm about to give up, or has been given up. It's gone to a new one I had to start, but since this one's filled, I thought this. So the front page, or the front inside cover, is everything I do. And that's just my little shorthand for it. I'm like, okay, what should I focus on if I do not have something to focus on? I can do that. The back cover, remember, I did my 2024, where do I want to be? My financial plan. So whatever it is, and then it keeps me focused. It's easy to slip into my bag, easy to have on my desk. And as I'm doing something else and something comes, go in, write down that thought, and then go back to it. So it's in one places. I'm not saying there's not sticky notes covered over here. Hello, my friends. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why. So my goal here is to give you 10 tips of what I do as someone with ADHD. Okay, not diagnosed other than by you all, like all my friends. When I first met Peter, like he's definitely diagnosed ADHD. And I was talking to one of my friends and I said, he has ADHD. And they look at me and they're like, Jen. I'm like, okay, no. I do a lot. Good things bouncing around. And everyone's always tells me, how do you do so much? And I don't think I do so much. But I think I do. Does that make sense? Like, to me, I could do so much more. And to everyone else, I do a lot. So here are my 10 tips that keep this ADHD side hustler almost on track. So I hope one or more of these can help you, even if you're not ADHD. So here we go. Number 1 tip for an ADHD side hustler that keeps me almost focused. A journal notebook. This is the one that I'm about to give up, or has been given up. It's gone to a new one I had to start. But since this one's filled, I thought this would be my best example of showing you it. So the front page, or the front inside cover, is everything I do. And that's just my little shorthand for it. But I suggest, writing what parts of you are there. What do you do? What are your hats that you wear? Write them down. It doesn't have to be in form of a pendulum ball. Board. But that helps me, I'm like, okay, what should I focus on if I do not have something to focus on? I can do that. The back cover is things within those greater things that they all seem to maybe have in common, like physical classes, inline class, in-person classes, physical products, in-person classes, online. So let me just give them all to you here. So I have in-person classes, I have YouTube, physical space, online products, taking a rest a day, that's in there, Instagram, online courses, which is different than the products. I guess you could call an online course a product, but for this purposes, products is a physical thing they can purchase. Online courses is just that. Reels, website, physical products that are not necessarily online, and Facebook posts. So this will help me if I know I need to do something but I can't. I go into here. This also keeps me a little bit sane. So I have an ongoing list of upcoming events, upcoming classes, and then they have the dates. And I can cross them off. There's also, I know, within here would be like orders. Again, I can cross them off. So I can go through every once in a while and highlight what I have not gone to, or I can say, oh, this is coming up soon. I can do that. Things to research. That's always a good one. If I am having an event that's kind of big and I need to get prepped for it, So this was the psychic fair I was doing, and I broke it down to the parts, and then I checked it off as I went. Examples of reels I wanted to do, things I wanted to sell. Spirit. Just some thoughts sometimes, like, why do I do what I do? A class that I was doing online, or maybe a book I was reading, and the good points I wrote down so I could go back and remember. I did my 2024, where do I want to be? Oh, my financial plan. So whatever it is, and then it's my daily to-dos too. So this keeps me focused. It's easy to slip into my bag, easy to have on my desk. And as I'm doing something else and something comes to my mind, instead of stopping what I need to do, I can go in, write down that thought, and then go back to it. So it's in one places. I'm not saying there's not sticky notes covered over here, but those sticky notes need to go in here eventually. So that is tip number 1, how an ADHD side hustler stays kind of focused. This. All right, tip 2 for an ADHD side hustler. I live seasonally. I work seasonally. I can't do it all at once. And that is a big, when you let that go. So you might hold multiple hats. Maybe you do one thing, but you have multiple hats in it and multiple components. Maybe you make products and there's multiple, and to do them all at once seems overwhelming. Be seasonal, live seasonal. And that could be by the month, by the actual season. Where does your main focus go? It does not mean you don't do something else. So for example, summertime, Jen's garden, I'm in the garden. It is summertime. My focus is going into the garden, into outside things. Does that not mean I am going to make a broom in the summertime? No, it just means I am not focusing on like the broom business during summer. That's more a fall thing where I'm focusing on it, or right before an event. But I've set everything up that if something comes up in the other thing, I can do just what needs to be done, small and efficiently. So that's seasonal living. I'll give you an example. If you haven't known by now, October was my son's wedding. So September, I stopped adding on to my to-do list, and I just focused on the wedding. Things came up. I had some events, but I wasn't giving big attention to those because I knew I had to give the big attention to the wedding. So I just did the basics. I was already set up to do the basics for everything else. November came. November, I went back into broom mode. Usually it's October, but maybe it started after the wedding in October, but November was by the end of November, you're going to have your new broom studio, new broom space done in the barn. And it was. And it's great, but that was it. It was like November, you have to November to get this done. So I was able to do it, knowing I would have time for other things. It's now December. December is working on making sure Jen's china cabinet is getting a little bit more focus and attention. And that will have a big tension going into the winter, like adding products online, doing things like that. But time spring comes, I'll be done posting product and getting that on and putting my emphasis there. But in in the middle of summer, someone's buying china, not a problem. I can just ship it really quickly. It's already up. It's already doing its thing. So that's seasonal living. Look at what you do. How can you break it up? Seasonally or monthly? Or within a month, how can you break it up weekly? So you have 4 weeks in a month. What are your 4 main focuses that you can rotate through? So living seasonally. My third tip for an ADHD side hustler: make time to prep and to clean up. This one was a hard one. always kind of think myself as a little tornado. And I am like full focus on whatever I'm doing, and things and chaos is going everywhere. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm so involved. And now I have to switch over to something else, but I left that mess. And then if I have to go back to that, I have to clean that mess before I start. And that's sometimes will just block me from starting again. So learning, and this is learning, this is, you gotta do it, is making time to prep, even if it's just for a few minutes, and then making time to clean up. Stopping with enough time to clean up. So going back to it is not overwhelming. This one is huge. If you have ADHD, it's hard to clean. It is hard to go do something in an area or a space that needs cleaning. So leaving yourself time to organize at the end, to clean at the end, reward yourself somehow on that is huge. So make time to prep and make time to clean up. So for example, I'm like, this was going through my head of making this video for a while. And this morning when I decided it's going to be today, I'm going through the talk in my head. I'm like, I just could wing it when I go on, because I wing a lot. But I'm like, write it down. Write it down, what you need. I'm not necessarily going to go in order, but it's going to give me some guideline. So I prepped for it. So this is going to be a better talk and easier to break down later on if it goes up to YouTube, which it will. Okay. Number 4 tip for you ADHD side hustlers to do multiple things. Know yourself. And this sounds basic, like, yeah, I know myself. No, really, like, how do you work? How's your inner working? Like, really recognize that. So all through my life, I have done things like the Dharma test. I'm a teacher. I have treated myself to a really good, a couple times, chart reading. I know how to do my chart. I know how to kind of read my chart, but it's better for a third party to look and read my chart so I know how I tick. Know how you tick, and that could be with your natal chart. So I'm talking about my astro chart. I have that done. A couple birthdays ago, and this was a big treat, I had my keys, body keys, that's wrong. I do. It's like an astro chart, but it's Carter. Damn, I'll put the link in there. But basically, it was about, oh my God, Jen. From this reading I had done, it was based on your birth time and things, but it was your, I want to say your body keys. That sounds wrong. Your human design. Oh my God, thank you. Human design. And it has all these different flow points and what's open, what's closed. How do you get information? So I have a very open mind. So I'm channeling all the time. It's not all meant for me. And that's hard to discern. And I have to learn discernment there. So I'm only doing things that light me up in the gut. So that's what rules me. Like, I should only do things that are like, I feel physically in the gut, that are right for me. Not every single thing I get downloaded, because I download a lot. So knowing that, knowing like, this is just an open channel, like I get all the radio stations, but not all of it is meant for me. Doing only what lights me up. So that was huge. And that was by Katia, and I'll put link somewhere. Tracy. Okay. That was huge, to know yourself and work that way. Kind of play to your strengths. Skill builders. Learn your skills. What are your skills? What are your natural skills? Because those are the easiest things to kind of work on. Yes. All right. Number 5 skill that I, as an ADHD side hustler, have to use, or trick of the trade. Give up perfection. Oh my God, that is so hard. So give up perfection. Sometimes it is just about getting it done. And when we get things done, we can build upon it later. We're going to take this, for example, this live. I'm just doing it. Now, I made my list of 10 things. It might go to be more. And I could have broken that down even more, right? So, no, I just need to get this out. It would never get done if I was trying to be perfect. Ultimately, I want this to go on my YouTube. So I can just break it up. I can do a little editing. I'm not going to edit. I'm just going to cut, right? And it's going to touch someone. If I waited for it to be perfected, I couldn't help anyone. So I'm just going to give up the perfection, get it done, and then I can tweak it later, fix it later, do better on the next one, because I gave up the perfection. I'm doing this, and the more I do this, the better I'm going to get. And that's it. You can't help someone, if your goal is to help someone, to do something, to make something, to create something, you have to start somewhere. Do it. Give up on the perfection and just get it done. And then you're going to see later on, after a year, after 2, after 3, oh my, I am so much better. Did you see that I did back in 2009, and now it's 2019, 2029, and it's so much better. And sometimes it's like, I did that in January, and now I'm re-looking at it in December, and it's so much better because I kept on doing it. So just give up perfection. Life is practice. It is what it is. Do it. Number 6 tip for an ADHD side hustler that's doing too much. Set boundaries. And this could be boundaries that you have for yourself. Like, Jen, you're not gonna do something. You can't do it all for everyone. Custom orders for some things. Know when to say no for me. Know when I'm having that I value myself. So my boundaries could be, I'm only doing this such to such time of year. That's the boundary I'm putting on myself so I don't do too much. I also put boundaries on what I put out in the world. I was emailing back and forth with a shop about broom classes that I was doing. And then I put out my boundaries. And I said, this is the percentage I need from the class. And I know every shop has their own percentages. And but it's like, this is what I need from this class. Here's the price. This is what I need, and this is what you get. Here's my cancellation policy. I put all my boundaries, all my expectations right in there. Now I haven't heard back from them. Then they're not right for me. I've had my boundaries, and that's also weeds out everything that's not right for you from not taking on too much. If you have your boundaries, if you know what your value is, say it, do it. And then the people who aren't right for you, the places aren't right for you, go away. We don't have to do it all. So set boundaries. I should do a bigger class on boundaries because there's a lot more boundaries in there. Okay. 7. The tip number 7 for how does an ADHD side hustler keep herself together or himself together? Know this is a practice that skills you need. Oh, no. Read your writing, Jen. Learn to write better. No, no, this is just a practice. Oh, these tips. It's a practice. It's a daily, weekly, monthly practice. It is not something you just, oh, okay, I'm going to do that, and it comes. You have to consciously practice things for them to become into your skill set. Earlier I talked about there's just some things we naturally are good at. Those are the things you really need to focus on. But then there's other skills that we're not good on, but we will need to support us in what we do. So just know it's a practice. And some days we're good at really mess it up, and some days we can come back to it. I guess that goes back to it's not perfection. It's just knowing it is a practice, and one day it will come naturally. It was really hard for me to do that prep and really cleanup to stop with enough time to clean up. Now it feels pretty natural for me to stop with enough time to clean up and to get ready for the next time. It didn't. It took work. No, it's going to take work, and this is just a practice. Doing these skills, whichever ones you pick, it's just, or tips, it's just a practice. We're practicing it. The more we practice, the better we get. That's it. 8. I love this one. This is what I'm doing right now. Do things in chunks, in bits. It doesn't all have to be things in once. And the opposite is we can go big and then chunk and bit it up. So with this, what I'm doing right now, I'm putting out a live video with the 10 tips, but ultimately I'm going to have some time in my week or in this month to cut this up into 10 shorter videos, because it's easier for us to learn in shortness, that are going to go up on YouTube. This does 2 things. It gets this out of the way for me, just getting it out there. So people right now are watching this, or will go back to watch it in the long form. And then it gives me 10 videos to place on YouTube. If you know me, follow me, I had a goal of 2024 to get a total of 100 videos onto my YouTube. I'm 25 away from that. And there's a reason I want 100. I will go over that in a different thing. But the goal was that by the end, there's going to be 100 videos on my YouTube channel. So I'm 25 away. I have about 17 planned out, almost 20 planned out, that I can knock off in another form. So these 10 put me over, which will be awesome. So I have from now until December 31st to get this broken up and put on YouTube. So I'm going to do it in chunks. So you can get something big out, and then you can chunk it up to make it small, or you can do small things that will add up. So if we consider this part the small, which is tape it, then the next bit would be go in, edit it, cut it up into 10 different spots. Another chunk is to make the thumbnail thingy, which, because my editing skills on Canva are getting so much better, or the design skills, that's what used to take me maybe like a half an hour to get like that. It's going to be done like that. And by the time the 10th one comes, it's like done. Like a blink and it'll be done, uploaded. Because I'm practicing, I'm doing. So remember, it doesn't need all be done at once. You can put something out there. Make sure it's in your notebook of what needs to be done next, and set yourself that time. Turn the page. 9. So the 9th tip, how an ADHD side hustler kind of keeps focus when she has to. And this is about creating your own luck, which is another video sometime I will put out. I love creating your own luck. But part of that, create, by the way, is an acronym. Education, continuing learning. Keep on learning, be it just a YouTube, be it a class that you actually paid for, online videos. continuing learning, getting these skills, knowing be teachable. Know you don't know it all. And even if you watch something like this, where you come with just one thing, that one thing can be profound. So continue to learn. For example, right now, I am taking a course and they gave us homework. The homework was to take something that could help someone else. So this was already in the back of my head that I'm like, oh, I need to do these tip videos. And in this course, I'm being very diligent, and it's kind of hard for me because I just want to go to the next, about actually doing the homework. Luckily, the homework is really easy, or it's small. It's stuff that, because of where I'm at, I can do. So it was 2 for 1. They're like, go live, do a presentation, do something where it is just giving someone helpful tips. Okay, great. Off my list. 2 for 1. So I can do my helpful tips for the ADHD person. So check. It's up in my homework, but continue to learn because it brings so much to you. Like, so watch the rest of my videos if you have not. Continuing education. Okay. Tip number 10. Tip number 10. My phone, which I can't show you because that's what I'm talking into. Though I am a paper girl, I love the written word. Also, just because spellcaster, writing gives it that extra, like, magical spell casting, right? But I need my phone. When I'm doing a task that I'm like, especially those cleaning tasks, I set my phone for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 25 minutes and going, all you have to do is just knock out this 10 minutes, just knock out this 15, just knock out this 20. So those tasks that you might not really want to do, but they're necessary for everything else you do, like the support tasks, we'll call them. Not the things that light you up that you could just do for hours, but the things that you need to do to get it all done. Set your timer, 10, 20, 15. What is it for you that you know, like, you know what, once I do give something 5 minutes, I know I can continue on for a little bit longer. Give yourself those timers, or that's how I do it. So timers are good. You know what time you need your next step is. We talked about like cleaning up at the end. So the next thing, I have an appointment at 3. I need to be out by 2:45. It's going to take me half an hour to clean. Set your timer to stop that light you up activity 30 minutes before you need to be done so you can tidy and clean. So the next time you go to it, you're not overwhelmed. Again, I give myself the timer so I can just get things done that I don't really want to do. And then I set an alarm so I can stop and tidy so it's not overwhelming to go back to. And lastly, those things that I'm gonna, like, I also have a paper calendar. Love my paper calendar, but there's some things I know I'm gonna forget. So I set like the alarm to remind me the night before, the alarm that's gonna give me enough time to get ready and get it done or get to that event. So that's how I use my phone, my alarms. That helps me out. And now we're going to do an 11th tip for the ADHD person. Do things that can percolate. So we've talked about, like, just do things, get them done, do them in chunks. Some things just percolate. So you're like, I sell things online and I do some other things, but selling things online, so that's the easiest to percolate. It just means I put it up there and now it's percolating. People are just naturally finding it, and eventually someone's going to buy it, or someone's going to reach out, or the YouTube channel. It's just there percolating. I have one video that has like over 12,000 views, and I'm like, damn. So it's just percolating. Things just percolate. Get something done, and then it can percolate in the back. Or I also call it like slow cooker mode. I work full time. I have several different side hustles. I do a little bit of something, and then it actually it's just slow cooking. It's marinating. It's percolating. And even though I'm not physically touching it or actively working on it, because I did something earlier in the year, in the month, a couple of years ago, it's still percolating out there. And by the time I go back to it, or someone sees it, it's kind of grown a little bit or marinated really well a bit. It's become more without me having to like actively work on it. So sometimes think about that. You're just getting things out there that will percolate, that will marinate, that will slow cook, whatever your language is on that. Well, I hope you enjoyed my tips on an ADHD side hustler. Let me know which tip resonated with you. What are you going to take and practice? What are you going to take and try? What did you take and try and worked for you? Let me know. I'm really excited to put out this series, and I hope something works for you. Because what lights me up is helping people. So hopefully this helped you. Do things that light you up, my friends. Have a great day.